Elizabeth Barbet. I am from Cypress Bay High School, and I created a food magazine layout. Before I began any work, I knew I needed to have a defined target audience. In the case of traditional food magazines, such as Cooking Light or Food Network magazine, the target audience ranges between ages 18 to 49, with the average age being 43 according to Food and Travel. Food magazines appeal more towards women than they do men, which explains why their cover lines usually contain numbers. This technique of saying 332 recipes or 122 new recipes, for example, makes people think they are getting the most bang for their buck when purchasing magazines and has been proven to work on engaging the female target audience. As my ideas for the magazine revolutionized, I knew I would have to keep my target audience in mind and not stray too far from it. During the creative process, I found the concept for my food magazine change several times. After watching a series on Netflix called Chef's Table and becoming inspired by Dan Barber, I was determined to make a farm-to-table dessert magazine that changed the way consumers ate dessert. However, as I began putting together my magazine, what I found myself creating was something more modern and artistic. What I found myself emphasizing was the idea that food is art. According to an article written by New York Times that stated that, like art, food is also a genuine passion that people like to share with their friends. I also read an article by Fast Company that stated that there has been a recent trend of viewing food magazines as a statement piece for coffee tables at home. I took this idea and ran with it. As you can see by my cover page, my cover lines are at the bottom. Similar to art magazines such as Art in America, the image is the focal point of the cover page, with the title of the magazine being simplistic. The cover lines run below or around the image as to not draw attention away from this. Wanting to create the same feel that Art in America has done by making the image the center, I did the same. This defies most food magazines, which have their cover lines alongside the image. The words in the cover lines themselves are classic, keeping with the tradition of using numbers to illustrate what's inside the magazine. As for the masthead, I wanted to keep it classy as to not take away from the image, which is why it is all lowercase. I also named it Sugar, so it's not too wordy, but still gets the point across that the magazine will be about something sweet. The cover image is a medium shot with the focus being on the cookie, with the rest being out of focus to provide visual interest for viewers, but also show that the cookie is a focal point and also represents a recipe that they could recreate by purchasing the magazine. The gray background represents classiness and modernity with my new target audience. Speaking of, I knew that when I began to focus on the idea of food as art, that my target audience would begin to broaden. Unlike most food magazines that rein in middle-class people, I was now not only appealing to that target audience, but also to a more upper-class and cultured one, ranging from ages 45 and up. Most food magazines are consumed via subscription or bought in stores. The same for most art magazines. For this reason, my magazine will be available to consumers on either subscription or direct store purchase. For the table of contents, I made it 2 pages, and it's organized by page number. I made each half of a page the actual table of contents and the other half an image. I used images with different textures and colors to appeal to the different senses. Furthermore, the images I chose are very bright, with high key lighting and different reds, oranges, pinks, and whites. The mixture of these colors promotes positivity and classiness. Alongside the image are the different story headlines and a short description of each story. When going through a Martha Stewart and through a Sift magazine, I noticed that the article descriptions were short and to the point and also full of gustatory imagery, so I tried to emulate the same throughout my magazine. When creating my double-page spread, I kept with the theme of it being image-focused and classy. The first page has a close-up of a donut, where you can see its different textures and a bit of chocolate oozing out of it. I added a bit of a whimsical side and also kept with some of the tradition of food magazines by titling it Donuts Make the World Go Round. When going through a Cooking Light magazine and a cookbook I own called Baking Companion, I saw that they would give a hands-on cook time, a total cook time, and a serving size to give readers an approximation. I put this below the title to give readers immediate notice on how long it would take to make this recipe. I also bolded the ingredients to display their importance. The second page of my double-page spread is simple, with the first column being the directions and the second being the different types of toppings and fillings for the donut. Many food magazines include tips to make the readers feel like not only are they recreating a recipe, but that they are also honing in their culinary skills with new facts. I italicized my tip to catch viewers' eyes when reading the article and to also show its importance. I also bolded the different types of toppings names to illustrate a change topping type. For the images, I included a medium shot and a high angle shot, both with high key lighting to display the food at different angles and to show the donuts in a new perspective. I made the columns for my double page spread of 2 columns because this followed what most food magazines do. I primarily used high key lighting in my photo shoots to keep the images bright and inviting. I also used mostly medium shots and close-ups because when researching and viewing different food magazines, I noticed that these were the most commonly used because they give viewers the best idea of the overall look of the food. To take my pictures, I used a Canon EOS 7D camera that I own. As for the lighting, I mostly used umbrellas, as can be seen in this image, and centered around a focal point on a table in my living room. I used a mixture of wood panels, tablecloths, flowers, etc. to help design the stage for my food as I took pictures. The general setup I used can be seen in the image to the left. For the setup, I have never done a photo shoot like this before, so there was a learning curve in it. I would first set it up how I thought I wanted it to be, and then it wouldn't look right, so I'd rearrange it. And I just kept rearranging until I got the finished product that I wanted. When taking pictures, I would play with the aperture on the camera to get the high key lighting that I wanted. Once I had the pictures I wanted, I used Corel Photo Paint to enhance them. I had never used Corel Photo Paint before, so it took me a few tries. But once adjusted to it, I discovered that it has an option that allows programs to change the lighting of an image how it sees fit. I did this for most of the images, and then I would go on and enhance individual things, such as the color of the fruit, if I wanted it to be more rich in color. I also used the program's cloning ability to fix any imperfections the food may have had. As can be seen on the image on the left, that is a raw image before I had edited it. The image on the right is a now edited image. Not only did I enhance the overall color of the image, but I also enriched some individual colors such as the raspberries, the purple flowers, and the oranges. For the magazine itself, I edited on a program called Canva that provides different magazine layouts for users, as can be seen on the column to the left. I combined several different layouts to get the final product for my magazine. I found Canva to be incredibly user-friendly. It was easy to upload my pictures, as can be seen here. I simply uploaded the pictures onto my computer and then added them to the Canva program. Once that was done, I would pick the layout that I wanted and then I would add the images to the layout. Or if I wanted to add extra text, I could add a text box, or I could even change the background. But for the most part, I kept my layout very simple and very classy to keep with the overall theme that I was trying to go with. Overall, this project was an incredible experience and with a great learning curve, and I hope you guys enjoyed